We get them from an Indigenous perspective, but they're different here because the place is different. Hey, believe it or not, this isn't Kauai. But yeah, the place is different, therefore the identity and the practice are different and unique. When we look at this idea of setting our culture alongside the Indigenous cultures, setting our practices alongside Indigenous practices, setting our identity alongside Indigenous identities, what we do is we build something unique in the middle there that only exists in the place that you're from. Nowhere else in the world. And that's the space that we're trying to get to. Identify your place. Identify your identity and the identity of others within that place. Find that cultural third space, that biculturalism that sits within that. That biculturalism that informs ideas about identity and place, about practice, about sustainability, what we do within this landscape to keep it, what we do with our cultures to maintain them, to sustain them. Think about how all of that fits together, not invading the gaps. Letting the things that we don't quite understand, let them be. They're fine. Celebrating the similarities. Now this model here, and even though I've used this model here in a conversation around biculturalism, I know what's going on in your mind. You think, actually, I'm from a multicultural society or community. And that's fine as well, because this model can be used in a lot of different contexts. Whether it's a racial context, iwi Māori, non-Māori, Canadian, North American, Hawaiian. As long as I can understand the other cultural constructs and fit them in with mine. It can work in gendered relationships, male, female, non-binary. If I understand that person, it can work in sexualized, in all sorts of fields. So the tools that I'm giving here, that I'm suggesting here around biculturalism, understanding yourself and your own cultural construct, understand the cultural construct of the other, the similarities and the differences, building that cultural third space, that beautiful place in the middle that only exists in that relationship between those two people, but not invading, not pervading your discourse, your narrative over top of theirs. That's the kind of conversation we're trying to encourage here. And that conversation relates to identity, our own identity, self-identity, how we relate to others, but it also informs practice. Things that we've done in the past, perhaps, that now we can cast a new lens over and say, if I had that opportunity to do that again, what would I do? If I more deeply understood cultural constructs and ideas about biculturalism and sustainability, the uniqueness of relationships with First Nations peoples, how would this affect practice that I've done in the past? How does it impact upon my life now? And what does it mean for me in the future? So, quite a bit of stuff there, guys. Thank you very much for listening to me once again. In my place, on my island, the place that, I've said this plenty of times, informs my identity, but the place that really is me. Here I'm home. And it's a unique place. It's a unique identity. These are unique sets of practices. But yeah, welcome here. Houses in the background, big hills, lots of trees, and today blue sky, and unfortunately flies. But I'll catch you guys online until I see you again. Mā te wā, until that time, ka kite anō. I'll see you then.